Hello and welcome to this Qualitative 2013 discussion with Steve Hales. Delighted that you could join me, Steve.
Delighted to be here. Yeah, I've been in the qualitative industry for the best part of 30-something years now, and I'm working on the program committee with ESOMAR to put this conference together. I'm very much looking forward to thinking about some of the new things that we can do within the industry, and hoping the conference will lead us the way.
You're doing a breakout session initially at the event. Do you want to tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, the breakout session is happening towards the end of the first day, and it's designed to give the delegates a bit of a chance to air their thoughts, both from what's coming from the platform, but also some of their own personal ideas of how they think the future of the business is going to shape up, the kind of challenges that we face now and potentially will face in the future, and where we can perhaps put most of our effort in making sure that the qualitative industry is in good shape for the future. I think there's some really interesting things happening at the moment. To me, it feels like a bit of a crossroads. I guess probably people attending conferences always say that, but for me, it really does feel like that at the moment. And I think the qualitative industry has been a little bit lax to some extent for a group of people who pride themselves in their free thinking and their ability to take on new ideas, have really been a little bit stymied by their adherence, I think, to what some might call at least the old-fashioned question and answer approach to qualitative research. And I can't think of any group of people who in reality have a better skill set in their sense of being able to order and understand many different concepts coming from many different information sources. The reality is that in the real world, most people don't understand numbers, and they shy away from them. It's a nasty old unpleasant thing, and people are much more comfortable with words and pictures. And that's what qualitative researchers have always done, created meaning from varied concepts and disassociated information. And I think it's about time that realistically we started to step outside of the cocoon of where we've been and maybe throw ourselves a little bit into the limelight of what's going on with big data and those kind of areas.
So do you see this as a change which has been occurring over the past couple of years, or do you see this as something which has really got to happen now?
It definitely has been occurring, and certainly the industry has moved and has got better at embracing technology. But my sense is that the way of embracing technology is almost been around, or how can we replicate what we've always done previously with the aid of technology, rather than looking at what are the new things that we can do. There's a sense to me that maybe even what qualitative researchers currently do may not be what they should be doing 100% of the time going forward.
When I was reading the kind of summary to this event on the ESOMAR website, I saw it very much as pitched as two camps. One camp that was very much the old school of qualitative researchers, and then the new school who were kind of pushing to bring out about these innovations, and that was the kind of spectrum.
Yeah, I guess it depends whether you're buying or selling in terms of my headspace. I mean, out and out historically cut me in half. I carry a tape recorder and record groups, and that's what I've done most of my working career.
Right.
But the reality is, I think that that's simply no longer good enough. Or I'll rephrase that. There are other things that we can do as well as that, which may get us to a different place.
So what about the event itself and the presentations that are going to be occurring, aside from your own? I'm not going to take that as an answer. Is there anything that you're looking forward to seeing, or any particular workshops that are going on?
Yeah, I think it's obvious from the frame of reference I've just brought. I mean, the things I'm looking at are the papers really where people are looking at transforming the world that we're looking at, maybe with different frames of reference of how we look at research, maybe looking at new technologies and using them to research in different ways, bringing in new things from the outside and reshaping what we're doing. And there's a paper I'm particularly looking forward to, which is a guy called Jeffrey Hunter, who's doing a paper called Qualitative Data, Integrative Frameworks and the Prospect of Strategic Impact. which I'm sure will scare the bejesus out of most of the qualitative researchers going, because there's lots of quant stuff going on in there. But for me, as I said previously, the qual skills required of analysis interpretation are just what's needed, and I'm hoping Jeffrey will point us the way in his paper to some of the things that we should be doing.
I'm actually hoping to pin down Jeffrey for an interview here, so I'm looking forward to kind of picking his brains about that a little bit without him trying to give away the game too much.
I think it will be very interesting I mean, in many ways, he's putting himself into the lion's den in the sense of, historically, he's an out-and-out quant researcher, but recognises that the skills that are required and trying to get the industry to buy in.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's great. And you're doing also a kind of chairing of the event, is that correct? A kind of summing up of it?
Yes, indeed. I'm doing the final session of the conference, which, when we put the program together, was really designed as a way of, if you like, reflecting the whole of the conference in one session. So there are 3 papers in that session, which would give delegates the opportunity to get some sense of some of the new things that are going on, a good idea from a paper from the BBC on how they're using technology for real-time research, and then a final paper which looks at our core principles and how looking at research problems within the context of our core principles can really help us understand and making sure that we don't throw the baby out with the bathwater in the use of constant new developments.
Sounds fascinating. I can't wait to watch it. Steve, thank you very much for joining me. Look forward to
an absolute pleasure.